Today's lesson is lesson 81, solving inequalities with variables on both sides. Well, if you can solve equations with variables on both sides, then you can solve inequalities with variables on both sides because you follow the same rules. Let's take a look at our first example. 4x plus 1 is less than negative x plus 11. If this were an equation, I would split it at the equal sign. Since it's an inequality, I split it at the inequality symbol. And the first step would be to move the x so that it's on the same side as the other x. I would do that by adding x to both sides. Negative x and positive x cancel, leaving just the 11. On this side I have 4x plus 1x, which is 5x plus 1, is less than 11. I identify my variable, get rid of the plus 1 first because it's not attached to the variable, undo the positive 1 or plus 1, same thing with the negative 1, and I get 5x is less than 10. Continuing to solve, I divide both sides by 5, and I have x is less than 2. I graph that on the number line, putting 0 in the middle, 2 is there. I draw an open circle because it doesn't have that equal sign attached. If it had the equal sign attached, then it would be a closed circle. X is smaller than 2, which means x is on this side of that 2. Let's look at a second example. This example involves fractions. And a lot of people, when they see fractions, they get kind of nervous. So if you're one of those kind of people, I hope this example will help you get over that nervousness. We have 4x over 9 plus 3 over 18 is less than or equal to 2x over 9 minus 5 over 18. Again, we identify where the inequality symbol is. That's our balancing point. And the first step is to move the variables so that they are together. So this 2x over 9 moves to the other side by making it opposite of what it is, which is a negative 2x over 9. Negative 2x over 9. On this side, those things cancel, and I get 2x over 9 plus 3 over 18. 4x minus 2x is 2x. The 3 18s just drop down. And then the negative 5 over 18 drops down as well. My next step is then to move this 3 over 18 to the other side. I do that by making it negative 3 over 18. I get 2 over 9x is less than or equal to. They have the same sign, so I add 5 and 3 to get negative 8 over 18. I get rid of that fraction by multiplying its reciprocal. So here I multiply by 9 over 2, multiply by 9 over 2. On this side, they all cancel. Common factor is 2. That becomes a 1, that becomes a 4. Common factor is 9. That becomes a 1, that becomes a 2. Looking further at that 4 and 2, I can cross cancel a 2 out of that once and a 2 out of that twice. My final answer is x is less than or equal to a negative 2 times 1, which is negative 2. How do I graph x is less than or equal to a negative 2 on a number line? On my number line, I first find 0, and then I find negative 2. Approximately, I draw a closed circle. X is smaller than a negative 2, which means x is going in this direction. Let's look at our next example. 4x plus 1 minus 8x is greater than 3 minus 2x plus 4. The first step in this equation is to combine the like terms. Since I have a 4x and an 8x on this side of the equal sign, I want to combine those together. A positive 4 and a negative 8 is a negative 4x. The positive 1 just drops down. On the other side, I have a positive 3 and a positive 4, which combine to get a positive 7, and then the minus 2x. I then get to work by moving the variables to the same side. Negative 2x moves with a positive 2x. Those cancel. Negative 4 and a positive 2 is a negative 2x plus 1 greater than 7. I continue the problem by identifying where my variable is and moving the thing that's not attached, which is that 1. Negative 1 to both sides. Negative 2x is greater than 6. Finishing off by dividing both sides by 2. Flipping the symbol because I multiplied by a negative number. Remember, when you multiply or divide a negative number, the symbol flips. There's my negative 3. I get an open circle this time. X is smaller, which means it's smaller than a negative 3. It goes in that direction. Let's look at our next example. It requires us to